Everybody, this is Chase Batiche, spiritual coach and astrologer. I'm giving my full moon in Gemini forecast for December 15th. Long time no talk. How's everybody doing? Lots of really fun and exciting things on my end. New developments, podcasts and such, projects. I've been busy, and man, every time I do these forecasts, I just feel. Every time I say, man, it's been a crazy time. Man, the energies are wild. But you know what? They are. And you know what? They're going to stay wild. And they are wild because we're in the middle of the changing of the ages right now. We are truly in the middle of the changing of the ages, which the ages in an astrological age is 2,000 years. So we have gone from the age of Pisces, which was riddled with, the dark ages were inside of the age of Pisces, we had, the extremes of martyrdom, hardcore codependency, deep toxic dynamics between the masculine and the feminine, loss of self in a lot of ways. And we're moving from that and these deep codependent patternings and really the elimination of the feminine inside of old patriarchal hierarchical structures. We're moving from that to the age of Aquarius, which the age of Aquarius is like this detached air sign that is ruled by electricity and currents and cosmic connections and independence. And it's really liberating. It's ruled by Uranus, the great liberator, the great awakener. It's liberating us from all these old. Pisces is so much water. It's so much emotion. It's so much devotion. It's ruled by Neptune. It can be all this really intense, hidden, it can be illusion, it can be inspiration, it can be incredible, deep feeling, but it also can be so just like your entire soul is taken, your entire sense of your spiritual life is taken. Like you don't have an identity. Everything is one with Pisces. So with Aquarius, it's actually one of the most original, one of the most independent signs. So this is really it's really a grand shift. Each sign in the zodiac, it goes from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And there's always a great difference because it's a changing of the energies. It's a changing a lot of times of seasons. It's a changing of this. But for going from Pisces to Aquarius is a huge shift, just even in the zodiac, okay? And so there's so many things that are falling apart right now that are just, and when I say falling apart, I don't mean it in a negative way. I mean falling apart, like they're not the structures that we used to have, that we used to judge our lives by, that we used to hold sacred are all kind of all over the place. And a lot of people are having a very hard time with that. The thing that the age of Aquarius is challenging us to do is to have to tap into our own source individual connection, which the core of that means we must tap our intuition, which is why I believe the age of Aquarius is really, really signaled by a return of the feminine. Just because if we are detaching from these old school dynamics that were really, really toxic and we're remembering our own individual source connection, there's going to be a natural recalibration of what has naturally been missing, which the feminine element inside of all of us has been missing, which is meaning, when you get down to it, the deepest piece of it is emotional intuition. Intuition has been systematically, especially through the age of Pisces, was attempted to be systematically eliminated. It's not. It hasn't been. And honestly, intuition is how we know ourselves. Really, intuition is in tune with spirit, in tune with the cosmos. So if we don't have any of these large structures anymore to get our information from, to tell us how to be, to feel safe and secure from, that means that we must reconnect with our own selves and be directed by something higher, which this is actually an amazing thing for humanity. Truly, this is an amazing thing for humanity. And if we can start seeing it like that, there's this middle space right now where people are in this, this one type of way, and then that was ripped away from them, and then they're left with the hollowness or the missing element of their intuition, which can feel very scary. But we're in a process of remembering right now. We're in a process of remembering ancient lineage. Aquarius, a lot of Aquarian energy rules technology. But what's happening with Aquarius is we're remembering the ancients, and we're integrating that with the technology of the future. Because the ancients were Aquarian. They were connected to the stars. They were connected to source, right? And we have lost that connection here on planet Earth. We've become inundated by hypermaterialism, religion, all these other things, lost in the 3D Earth realm. Aquarius in the tarot rules the star card, which is really bringing down source energy and pouring it into the waters of humanity, which is what this era is going to be about. So it's actually a very exciting era. It's a very exciting time, and it's going to be in a crazy time. I mean, pretty much every time I'm going to do these, I'm going to say, yeah, this is a crazy time. It just is. It is what it is. So, let's see. Let's talk about the full moon. So there's some things on this full moon that are really cool. We have Neptune conjunct the North Node. The North Node's in Aries, and I've talked about the North Node quite a bit, and what that means. But, the North Node is our collective destiny. It actually travels backwards, like the ages do. So it's at 3 degrees Aries right now. It's almost soon to be out of Aries, and it will be going into Pisces. Ha 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 ha, which will be interesting. But with Aries energy, and degree points matter, but we're at this point where it's like North Node in Aries is asserting oneself in the world. To have it conjunct Neptune in the sun in Pisces, what I got was divine confidence and spiritual trailblazing, which is really, that's kind of what's going on right now. Like I said, I keep saying the witches are coming out of the closet. The priestess is rising. The feminine element is safe. I literally had a conversation with a woman yesterday. I gave her a reading. She was such a true divine high priestess. And I knew that it was my job channeling to tell her it was safe for her to share her voice with the world now. She literally asked me those questions. It's safe. So these energies that were once hidden can now start coming out of the closet. The world is receptive to new, innovative, trailblazing, pioneering ideas. It's a really exciting time to be alive if one can get past the loss of the old and get in to the excitement of the future. We have on this full moon, we have Sagittarius opposing Gemini, the moon in Gemini, sun in Sagittarius. That's the axis of learning, that axis. And, one of the things I just keep saying, for Gemini and for the energy of this time that we live in is an Oscar Wilde quote. Oscar Wilde's got such great quotes. But it's be curious, not judgmental. And that's really a Gemini energy, and that's kind of the energy we need for these times, because it really, at its highest, Gemini is integrating duality, which is another piece of the puzzle piece of the pie that we're dealing with here in the changing of the ages, is this really moving past good and bad duality, one or the other, and integrating opposites, which is paradox, integration of the shadow, looking at things that were once deficient, bringing them back, returning to wholeness, remembering. Those are all themes of the times we're living in currently. So right now, this Gemini, this sun in Sagittarius, moon in Gemini, full moon, it's really highlighting, this idea around curiosity. And then I believe the moon is technically conjunct Jupiter. So it's really, bright ideas, new ideas, exciting ideas, letting them come in, channeling. Gemini at its highest is a channel. Follow those. Act on them. There's a grand trine in fire on this full moon, which is exciting. That's inspiration, action, really deep creativity, moving energy forward. But there's a kite formation with this element of Pluto, which it's technically almost out of conjunction because it's by 9 degrees, but it's still like the last degree of a conjunction. So Pluto has been conjunct Venus, opposing Mars. Pluto rules death and rebirth, transformation. Venus rules the divine feminine. It rules the earthly delights, money, relationship, the Empress energy. So it also rules our values. It rules what we value. And everything that the universe is giving me right now and telling me is that not only is it time for the priestesses to rise, but it's also that our systems, the way we're doing business, the way that humanity is ready to move forward, the people that are pioneering things moving forward are no longer willing to participate in grind death culture. Venus is one of the signs ruled by Venus is Taurus. And Taurus is about slowness and beauty and simplicity and receptivity and the feminine elements, flow and enjoyment. And, old school Americana is grind culture. It's like really a worship of death. So if the priestess is rising and this Venus energy is conjunct Pluto, meaning a transformation in what we value, a transformation in the feminine virtues, a transformation in the way we look at money and our relationships and work. There is a true pivotal time of recalibrating and shifting the way that we have traditionally worked, because all of that is, we're not paying attention. The old school culture has been all about it's death culture. It's like we're killing ourselves to survive. And we don't have to live like that. This is our play. We can shift our focus, align our virtues, work with the spiritual energy, align with our intuition, and start being more in the flow, which is really how things are supposed to go here on planet Earth. We've been doing it really counterclockwise for a while now. So I don't know. There's something here with the energy of this new moon, which is recalibrating how we're doing business, how we're looking at money, how we're viewing ourselves, self-worth. What is worth? What is worth what? What do we value? And if we can actually start looking at that and looking at our shadows in accordance with that, meaning how much we've denied ourselves in order to please the status quo, please others, whatever, and start really looking at what is important to us and what we value and our own energy, valuing our own energy, there's going to be a grand shift in our lives, in the dynamics of our lives, and in the way that the system starts working. So the thing I always keep saying is this change is happening through us, not to us. So ask yourself about that. What does that look like? Instead of pointing the finger and saying, look what is happening out there, saying, what is happening in here? How am I changing? And it's alchemy, you guys. It's alchemy. And the alchemical process is not exactly easy. You got to go through some dark nights of the soul. You got to confront your shadow. You got to confront the things, your fear, your shame, the things we've set aside, bringing light to it. But it's the things in the shadow are the things that are going to give us life. And they're the things that are actually going to transform ourselves and the world. So, I could talk about this for forever, but that's kind of like a little taste of what's been going on. And like I keep saying, it's a really exciting time to be alive. It really is. And we need to give ourselves grace. But, if we want to change the wheel, the patterning, the matrix, we have to look at our own internal matrix. And we have to look at patterns and loops and say, if we're not happy with this pattern, if we're not happy with our lives, start waking ourselves up out of these patterns and making conscious choices to change them. That is how you change your karma. That is how you change the wheel of time. That is how you evolve. That is how you mature. And that's what we're doing collectively, consciously, individually. But it's really just about being in our integrity. When something doesn't feel right, when the loop doesn't feel right, which let's be real, the culture at large has trained us not to feel right. So we have to start to trust ourselves, in tune, and start realigning what we know does not feel right and our actions, correcting those two, narrowing the gap. That is the true definition of integrity. And that is what we are all aiming for. Because when you're in integrity, you're in alignment. When you're in alignment, shoot, everything can happen. That's like straight up manifestation. That's like being in God form. So the goal is integrity. The goal is alignment. Integrating our internal selves, our internal feelings with our external actions. I am a spiritual coach. I am here to help you with this if you need help with it. It's not an easy thing. So you can contact me. I hope this video helped. I'm sending you guys so much love on this full moon. Open up to divine inspiration. Allow yourselves to be curious, to channel new ideas, and then act in accordance with those. Because that is where all the value lies. All right. Sending you guys love.